welcome to this week's edition of the Hedge Plus Green Gauntlet. As always, we've got 5 questions. Most of these are from our current clients, questions we've received often just over the phone, most common questions throughout the week. We also got 1 question this week from a prospect. Obviously, it's been a pretty big week with what's taking place with Iran and the general up move we've had with the markets. That's hopefully keeps going. Patrick, you ready to go?
I'm ready to rock.
All right. First question. Is it time to hedge new crop corn?
Yes, 100%. We're holding off on sales right now. Got some targets above the market to take the risk off. Doing some hedging is a really smart thing to do. You can do some very minimal fixed risk hedging. I think it's the time to do it. So any of my guys out there hearing this, I haven't talked to you, call me.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at what the USDA has this projected 420 as of right now. Maybe that'll change on the next report, but we're well above that projection they have for corn this year. So probably a good idea to protect some of that right now, right?
Yep, for sure.
All right. Good. Next question. Should we anticipate anything from the March WASDE report that would move prices?
I don't expect anything. They've given us enough. Let's hope not, because every surprise is ugly. So let's hope not. I don't expect anything in this report. They can't keep adding to demand every month, so I expect that to be nil. They're not going to mess with production or anything else from the past. I expect almost everything to remain the same. The surprise will come at the end of the month on the 31st when we get a look at acres and quarterly
Yeah,
stock.
I was just about to mention that because of that acreage report that comes at the end of March, I would presume that the March WASDE isn't typically full of too much new information. They kind of save.
It really isn't. You have 2 big reports in January and the March. So those 2 reports kind of dominate the early spring. And then we get the next big one to be the first supply and demand report for the new crop in May. So,
okay. All right, good. Next question says, how do you feel about selling some new crop corn? I think you kind of alluded to we might be getting close to some sales there.
We're getting very close, and I will be aggressive. We're holding off. I'd rather hedge right now and hold off and see if we can get a little bit better price. I got some targets above the market. And why don't I give those targets out? It's simple, because if something changes in the world, like a war or something, you don't want to necessarily be locked into those prices when we get there, because something could be causing it to jump even higher. I'm watching very closely the concern with the safrinha crop in South America. Dryness down there is as expected to expand. And again, they need rain through the end of April. If that monsoon shuts off early, it's devastating to that crop. And I would be cheering for that.
Okay. All right. Next question says, what would a drawn out war with Iran do to prices?
Typically, the longer the war goes on, the more the market adjusts and the more the prices come back down. Initially, with a war or any kind of surprise, uncertainty, you see a jump. And we really haven't seen that in the corn bean market. We get a little bit of jump, it comes right back down. So I'm a bit surprised by the lack of volatility so far. But normally you see increased volatility a lot of times in commodities. When it's war, commodities become more valuable, right? Something that you can hold on to. And when you have something you can hold on to during a war that's worth value, that's very important. And so the price goes up. We're not seeing it yet. Long term, though, the market adjusts. They nobody's even paying attention to Russia and Ukraine anymore as far as prices, but beginning big jump. So as it goes on, it becomes less relevant.
Okay. All right. Final question. This one came from a prospect. They asked, are you guys taking lower risk positions right now due to the recent increase in volatility?
Wow, that's an excellent question. We are. My hedge position is not aggressive at all for the new crop. it's going to give us good profit potential for a short move down or even a longer term move down. We keep it for the duration. But really, I'm playing for smaller moves right now. We can get 10, 15, 20 cents added to our bottom line by protecting the new crop right now. That's fantastic, especially if we can do it with very minimal risk, which we are. But yes, you have to take volatility in consideration. The more volatile, the less reward you should go after because you have just that much more risk. And so more opportunities, more risk, but also play it smart.
Okay, good. And the only thing I would add to that for people who are thinking about coming on board with us, since this prospect was the prospect question, we put out very broadly, we put out fixed risk recommendations, but we do much more than that. But that's all done on a one-on-one basis with your broker, so it's customized exactly to what the individual need is. But yeah, we do fixed risk things, but we also do obviously much more. I don't know how best way to put it, advanced or exotic things. But even you right now, with some of the more complex things you do, it sounds like you're doing something a little bit closer to fixed risk right now.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the environment we have right now. Big ending stocks, right? And potential, a lot of volatility because lots of weird things happening in the world. When you have those two things combined, what you should be as a farmer is a hedger first, okay? Because if it scoots up, you make great sales, right? That's fantastic. But if the volatility brings it down, you're dead. So hedge first in this kind of environment. Look to scramble to make good buybacks. That's what I'm looking at more and more with corn, with beans. We've had a lot of sales done. I don't see any clean signs that we have a top in yet. When we do, I definitely want to hedge the new crop in beans. So you got to be a hedger first in this environment because that's where your risk is that simple. And then scramble to get long when you have to.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sounds good. Great advice. That's all for this week, everyone. As always, if you have a question you want to have shared, you can always email it to admin staff@hedge-plus.com. Otherwise, feel free to, share your questions when we talk to you on the phone, and we'll get it on the program. All right. Take care, everyone.
And all you farmers in the Southern Plains, send up the warmth so I can get rid of the sweater.
Right. Exactly.
Have a
All
great
right,
week.
thank you. Bye.